And Julia, on that note, we are live on this podcast. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa Al Jazari through the police body cams. Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope. Now we have friends and supporters here on a group chat with us. Julia, Stefana, Casey, Bustos, Farah, other friends and supporters will be joining us, whether on this group chat, whether it's on the live. We're here to have a conversation about the Mustafa Al Jazari case. We're here to have a conversation about other individuals in our county, Prince William County, here in Virginia. We have files, body cams, and discovery notes. Shelly, hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining the conversation. We have files. We have files that have been supplied to us by a police officer out of Prince William County. Now, not every police officer is okay with police misconduct in this county. And a testament to what we're talking about is we have a police officer out of this county that supplied us with body cams and discovery documents for Mustafa Al Jazari and other individuals in the county. So that way we can talk about what they do behind closed doors. And we're actively leaking them on the internet. And we're having a conversation. And this podcast is not another boring podcast. Mustafa Al Jazari through the police body cams. Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope. Now, this is a heavy title. Judge Carol Weimer is a judge in Prince William County here in Virginia. And Judge Carol Weimer has a reputation that through the Mustafa Al Jazari case, he's living up to that reputation. He has a reputation that he does not rule on the evidence. Instead, he rules regardless of the evidence, and he rules on relationship. Now, there is a video that we're going to pull up to watch this video so that we can put things in perspective. Now, if you bear with me, let me pull up that video for everybody. And if you just go on Google and you type Judge Carol Weimer and go on Google, and you'll see under videos, you'll see a video on here that Judge Carol Weimer, during a judicial review, someone comes up midway through the video and says, Judge Carol Weimer, before they cut that individual off and change the topic to something completely different. This individual calls out Judge Carol Weimer. And she says, Judge Carol Weimer, regardless of the evidence, you ruled on relationship. Let's watch this video.
William County, the 31st Judicial Circuit. Is Judge Weimer there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good. Go ahead. How are you doing? How long have you been on the court, and why do you want to continue? Can we hear you?
The end of my first term.
Okay. All right.
So I've been on the court 7.5 years. I find it to be a challenge, and I find it to be an opportunity to serve the Commonwealth.
Judge Carol Weimer says, I find it to be a challenge and an opportunity to serve this Commonwealth. I mean, a guy applying to McDonald's could probably had...
Commonwealth he's friends with.
You know, ma'am, a guy applying at McDonald's could have probably had a better answer. I find it to be a challenge and an opportunity to serve the Commonwealth. Well, how are you serving the Commonwealth, sir, when, regardless of the evidence, you rule on relationship? Is this the good old boy system where it doesn't matter what the evidence are. I mean, I was protesting in front of our county jail. I was protesting in front of the court, and I'm on public property, peacefully protesting. I have a video posted. There's a video of the whole entire incident. Sheriff Glenn Hill comes out, and he puts me in handcuffs for simply holding a banner that says, Commonwealth Amy Ashworth allows a jail to murder inmates. And I was talking about my brother falsified police reports. Now, I was on public property. I was peacefully holding a sign, exercising my First Amendment. When I had court with Sheriff Glenn Hill, the judge in General District Court, before the proceedings started, he says, I just want to let you know that I play golf with Sheriff Glenn Hill. That half of my building, a building that I own, I rent half that building to the previous attorney that you had a problem with. The attorney, Casey Stevens, that stole our money, apparently had a relationship with the investigator that falsified my brother police report. And this judge is openly telling me that I'm going to be impartial. I mean, is this a good old boy system? Yes. I mean, regardless of the video that I had, regardless of the evidence that I had, that I was standing on public property, I mean, I have a recording of the whole entire incident. A recording of the incident and a recording inside the proceeding. We're going to go into detail about the deposition of Sheriff Glenn Hill, where he admits that I was on public property, where Sheriff Glenn Hill admit that I was peacefully standing there, and he says, I had no idea you were being arrested for disorderly. And he throws his deputy sheriff, who's a retired Marine, who's just following orders from the sheriff to put me in handcuffs, to charge me with disorderly, when he ordered him to charge me with disorderly. A deposition where the sheriff admit that I was exercising my First Amendment peacefully. But because this judge plays golf with the judge, they found me guilty in General District Court. And now I have to appeal it to a higher court, to a judge in circuit court, so that way the evidence could be looked at. Judge Carol Weimer, and you'll hear in this video, someone comes up and says, Judge Carol Weimer, you have a reputation. You did not rule on the evidence, and regardless of the evidence, you ruled on relationship. Here we find a common practice where it's the good old boy system. But I'll tell you one thing. Regardless of the situation here at Prince William County, we're going to continue to fight, even if we have to take it all the way to federal court. Even if we have to get the federal government and have them do their job. When the local government fail us, we expect the federal government to step in and to clean house. It's an ongoing fight. Let's continue watching this video.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Senator Zerble.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, I don't believe I've had the opportunity to appear before Judge Weimer, except for maybe a continuance or an agreed order or something. You know, I've talked to many members of the Prince William Bar who I practice with, and he's highly regarded. He's pretty balanced and fair to have an open mind about reasonable doubt, and not to suffer any bias. And I think he's an asset to the Prince William County bench, and he'll have my support for his re-election coming this session. I thought the committee ought to know that.
Judge, how do you like the evaluation process? Do you think it's a good process?
I think it's a great process. I'm not sure what else we could do in terms of an evaluation process. You all need to know about what we're doing and whether we're doing okay. And I was surprised a few years ago when you started using or polling the jurors as well. And I think that's a good idea.
Okay. Prince William County is going,
Is it a great process? He says, great. It's a great process. I don't know what else we can do. I mean, you're asking the judge. This is a judicial review for the judge. And you're asking him, is there anything how about asking the community what else we can do to see if judges in Prince William County are impartial? How about mechanizing our media like NBC4, Channel 7, WUSA 9, Channel 9, our local news inside Nova, Prince William Times? How about getting them to do their job and go out in the community and get the community involved? I mean, you have a judicial review where someone is going to come up and says, Judge Carol Weimer, you rule regardless of the evidence. You don't even look at the evidence. You rule on a relationship. For 2 years, with the Mustafa Al-Jazari case, we've been screaming that Judge Carol Weimer is not looking at the evidence. I mean, Mustafa Al-Jazari has a Google Nest inside the apartment. Judge Carol Weimer knows about it. Why is that not introduced into the record? Blake Weiner, Mustafa's lawyer at the time, stood in circuit court and told Judge Carol Weimer, Your Honor, I have hours and hours of video, Google Nest, inside the apartment that contradict what this prosecutor is claiming. The prosecutor has claimed that Mustafa is abusive to the kids. Mustafa hated the kids. Mustafa is abusive to his girlfriend. Mustafa hates his girlfriend. Well, there's a Google Nest inside the apartment that shows that Mustafa loves his family. Mustafa loves his girlfriend. His girlfriend loves him. The kids love Mustafa. Mustafa loves the kids. There's a Google Nest inside the apartment. Judge Carol Weimer looks the other way.
You're speaking on Glenn Ford on all that.
You have the star witness, Glenn Ford, who the police department, we have body cams, that are using Glenn Ford as the star witness. And we have evidence that the star witness lied. There is a Google Nest inside the apartment that contradicts everything Glenn Ford, the jealous ex-boyfriend, is saying about Mustafa. Now, at the same time, in the police body cams, Glenn Ford says, I've never met Mustafa. I've never seen anything firsthand. It's all hearsay. You want to tell me the police department, the prosecutor, is taking the word of a jealous ex-boyfriend in light of all the evidence that we have? He's talking about on a recorded line that he slept with Dorothy's 16-year-old daughter. That this daughter, who never lived at the apartment, who never saw anything, she just says a whole lot of hearsay, have came up to Glenn Ford and solicited to get Mustafa murdered, killed, and can we make it look like an accident? This daughter, the 16-year-old daughter, the same one that the ex-boyfriend Glenn Ford slept with, on a recorded line, he's admitting that he slept with her. On a recorded line, he's admitting that she came up to him and asked that, can we kill Mustafa? Can we make it look like an accident? We have her on a recorded line admitting that her dad works for Billy, the club owner, who a month before Mustafa met her mom, had a problem with Mustafa. The owner of a strip club, and she's hanging out with his strippers, who before this club owner had a problem with Mustafa, loved Mustafa, used to promote his business, but now are turning against Mustafa because their boss is not happy. You have that 16-year-old, you have the jealous ex-boyfriend, who everything they say is hearsay because they both say that we were never at the apartment. We've never saw anything firsthand. This is what we think. This is hearsay. And then the Google Nest comes out, and it shows that it's a beautiful relationship. The police department is using those two individuals into Mustafa's character, into what happened, into what's going on, when they're telling you on a police body cam, we were never there. But the police department, the prosecutor, and Judge Carol Weimer looks the other way from video evidence inside the apartment. It's ridiculous. For 2 years, we've been saying that Judge Carol Weimer is impartial. He's not looking at the evidence. He's protecting a prosecutor that's lying about Mustafa. Prosecutor Sarah Sami is lying about Mustafa and is protecting police officer that falsified police reports. Now, we have the Google Nest. There is a police officer, Officer Zymus, with the digital forensic, admit that the audio, there's an audio, that this dash camera does have audio, and the audio is on an SD card. Now, for the past 2 years, the police department have claimed that this dash camera does not have audio. Now, when we look at the discovery, there's a document that says Officer Zymus admit that this dash camera does in fact have audio. Judge Carol Weimer, where is Judge Carol Weimer from this piece of evidence?
Robert Jerome told Casey Stevens there was audio.
On a body cam. Like Casey said, there's a body cam that the whole entire community is watching where now, let's continue watching this video.
Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone, mom is calling.
Sixth Circuit Court Judge.
How many do you think you need?
No, not this phone, use your phone.
Like everybody else, I think we probably need 2 or 3 more. And I suspect that based on the pandemic and the things that we've been forced to do, that we're going to find when we come out of this that we can do some more things with the virtual hearings, remote hearings that might help to lessen the load or to get things done more efficiently.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
COVID epidemic came gone a long time ago.
There is,
You know what I found interesting? What they're talking about is this judicial review took place during COVID. The only reason we have access to what is said on this judicial review is because I believe there was COVID and they had to FaceTime each other. Someone recorded this and put it on the internet. Now, we would never find out that Judge Carol Weimer is being accused of being impartial and not looking at the evidence if it wasn't for this video. What else is going on behind closed doors that this community is not aware of? I mean, the media is not reporting on it. The media, like Julie Carey with NBC4, who's been lying about Mustafa for the past 2 years. I'll tell you something that's interesting. As late as the late bond hearing, after a whole entire year, this prosecutor admit there's a dash camera inside the vehicle. This prosecutor is so terrified that there's a dash camera. And what they've done, after we publicized, we took it from them, and we publicized it on social media. It put them in a position where they had to admit that there's a dash camera. Now, they chopped up the dash camera. They pieced together a deformed version, a 4-second version of a dash camera. 4 or 5 seconds of this dash camera. And released it on NBC4. And I find it disturbing that when I go back through my text messages, you'll see that a year ago, I sent the dash camera to Julie Carey with NBC4. And then NBC4, Julie Carey, airs it out on the news as if she just got the dash camera. Now, we're taking steps to hold Julie Carey accountable. She has a job to do in our community, and she can't engage in defaming Mustafa, lying about Mustafa anymore. We have the body cams and the discovery that we can prove that Julie Carey with NBC4 is lying about Mustafa, is engaging in defaming Mustafa. and is nothing more than a mouthpiece for a police department that's falsifying police report and lying about Mustafa. Now, we're going to be taking steps where we're going to be filing civil lawsuit against Julie Carey, NBC4, and every media outlet that engaged in the same practice. That's coming up. So stand by, the best is yet to come. Let's continue watching this video.
A few years ago when you started using or polling the jurors as well. And I think that's a good idea.
Okay. Prince William County is growing dramatically, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How many judges do you have there now?
We have 6 circuit court judges.
How many do you think you need?
Like everybody else, I think we probably need 2 or 3 more. And I suspect that based on the pandemic and the things that we've been forced to do, that we're going to find when we come out of this that we can do some more things with the virtual hearings, remote hearings that might help to lessen the load or to get things done more efficiently.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? There is Janice Grenadiers also would like to say something, I believe. She's already spoken once, and we have her email. Does she want to speak for 30 seconds, or without repeating what has been said before?
Mr. Edwards,
Yes.
I feel that I should be given more than 30 seconds. I find the legislature trying to quash and quiet the citizens of the state of Virginia. We have a right to face our accusers under the Sixth Amendment, and we have judges who are covering up crimes in their courthouse. And I think those need to be addressed. And with Judge Wimmer, Carol Weimer, he was well aware of the crimes of divorce lawyer Alona Grenadier Heckman out of her law office, the thefts from Sonia Grenadier and myself, and the family of Judge Albert Grenadier. And instead of allowing people to be heard, it was like a drive-through court. He didn't allow us to be heard. He ignored the information, and he's ignored the fact that an attorney has stolen real estate and monies. She agreed to a seal of a property. She didn't really have 100% the right to do that. And she agreed to sell it for $2 million instead of $10 million, which was contracts they had had a few years prior to that. And Judge, you can be as mad as you want as someone you're up against, but when the judge doesn't look at the evidence and he rules on friendship of DeMero Ginsburg lawyers, you have a real problem. And you should have a right to say something to him and have a right for him to respond to you. And I know that's not how you like to do it.
Yeah, thank you, but I believe you did submit a fairly extensive...
Will he get a copy of it?
I'm sure you can get a copy if he wishes.
And I would like to for Judge.
Why'd they cut her off?
Thank you for appearing.
Why did they
before us.
disconnect that lady?
Anybody else, any member of the committee have anything to say?
John, I've got a quick question. Mr. Chairman,
So they disconnect that lady
I've got a quick question.
and then changes the
Good morning.
conversation.
Good morning, Judge Weimer.
Doesn't even address what she's talking about.
Going back to one of the I couldn't unmute my computer in time, but I wanted to ask you this question. Prior to the pandemic in March of 2020, and the ensuing, decline in jury trials, how many jury trials did you average? Criminal jury trials.
What does this have to do?
Did you average a year?
What does it have anything to do with what that one lady is talking about? She's accusing Judge Carol Weimer of being impartial. That regardless of the evidence, he's ruling on relationship. They just cut her off and move on to a whole new topic, and they don't even address what she's talking about? Well, I'll tell you, unfortunately for Judge Carol Weimer, our voice in this county is getting bigger every day. For the past 2 years, we've been dismissed because we don't have the evidence that Judge Carol Weimer is being impartial. I mean, during a bond proceeding, Judge Carol Weimer laughed at Mustafa when Mustafa was telling him, Your Honor, they beat me, they sexually assaulted me, and they denied me medical. Judge Carol Weimer in circuit court, now this is a court of record, laughed at Mustafa and told the guards to take him away. Mustafa has been beaten, sexually assaulted, and denied medical. And Judge Carol Weimer laughs. I mean, there's a whole entire proceeding with Judge Carol Weimer where my other brother, Muhammad, filed a civil lawsuit against the jail. And Judge Carol Weimer, it was the presiding judge. 2 hours, my brother is telling Judge Carol Weimer that Mustafa needs to go to the hospital. Mustafa's been beaten. Mustafa was sexually assaulted and denied medical. At the end of the proceeding, and by the way, we have a whole entire recording of the proceeding, where at the end of the proceeding, Judge Carol Weimer denies all of it and sits there and gives the opposing counsel, the jail lawyer, advice from behind the bench. I mean, as a judge, it's illegal to give advice to the opposing counsel. It's illegal. But this judge is giving advice to the jail lawyer from behind the bench. He's ruling from behind the bench. It's illegal. This is a video of Mustafa beaten.
Hi there, this is Elaine.
We have a video where, yes ma'am, we have a video. Now, we didn't have this 2 years ago, but now we have it. We have the CCTV of a video where Mustafa, giant correctional officer, enter Mustafa's cell, drag a handcuffed Mustafa behind his back.
Exactly. Like, at least
6 correctional officer. 6. Take out an unconscious Mustafa, a naked Mustafa, a Mustafa that's handcuffed behind his back.
I can't watch this.
It's disturbing. And they've had this video for 2 years. 6. Go into his cell. 6 giant correctional officer enter Mustafa's cell and take out an unconscious Mustafa, a Mustafa that's handcuffed behind his back, a naked Mustafa, while they're still hitting him on the head and kicking him. And they drag him unconscious, lifted in the air, from one cell into another cell. And then they...
Resisting? How can he be resisting?
If he's unconscious. Mustafa is unconscious. Yes, ma'am.
All of it.
Now, they take him into another cell and then beat him and then sexually assault him.
And make him clean up his blood.
There are details that are so disturbing. We have a witness from inside the jail, Richard Brooks, who we have an affidavit where he talks about the details.
Were they taking their own personal pictures with their phones too?
Now, that's another disturbing details. Mustafa is naked. They take him into another cell. Mustafa's naked. He wakes up, and they're taking pictures of him. They're taking pictures of his naked body. Now, where are those pictures? And is it jail procedures to take these pictures? And if it is, where are those pictures? Now the question is, who did these guards take these pictures for? Now, I'll
That's
tell
a
you,
violation of his federal HIPAA rights.
yes, ma'am, it's a violation. Now, the question is, who ordered Mustafa's beating inside the jail? Now, this beating happened May 24, 2023. Now, at the time when Mustafa was getting beaten up, we were outside protesting that Mustafa police report has been falsified. A police officer with Prince William County, Robert Drum, who's been there on the force for over 20 years, falsified Mustafa's police report. We have a recording. My other brother Muhammad recorded the conversation between this investigator and Mustafa. And we'll go into detail. We'll take a deep dive and we'll listen to the audio on this podcast. We'll listen to the recording. And in that recording, when you compare it with the police report, Mustafa's statement was falsified on that police report. Now, what caused Mustafa to get beaten up inside the jail? Is it possible that because we're advocating for Mustafa on the outside and we're saying that an investigator who's there for 20 years falsified Mustafa's police report, Mustafa got beaten up to silence Mustafa? To silence us? Is it possible that the club owner that
Hello, this is a prepaid call from
and we have Mustafa from Prince William County Adult Detention Center
an
here in
inmate at the
Virginia.
Prince William
Call
County
in.
Jail. To accept this call, press 0. Your current balance is $45.
We're going to take a deep dive into
79 cents.
that recording.
Call is from a correction facility.
We're
and
gonna
is
take a
subject
deep
to
dive
monitoring and
into
recording. Thank you for
everything
using
surrounding
Hotel Link.
that incident. Mustafa, hello, hello, hello. Mustafa, thank you for being here. Everybody's here. You're on a podcast, not another boring podcast. Mustafa, through the police body cam, Judge Carol Weimer, under the microscope. We have friends and supporters, Julia, Shelly, Casey, Becky, Farah, Stefana. Everybody's here. Now, let's take a break from everything that we're talking about. Mustafa, I want you to say hello to everybody that's here.
Hello, everybody that's here. Good evening, folks. How's everybody doing? Julia, Stefana, Sarah, I forgot the rest of the names. Who else?
Becky is here. Casey is here. Everybody can hear you.
Hi, Moses.
Becky, Michelle, Shelly, Shirley, and everybody else in the background. How's everybody doing?
And you guys just pretend I'm not even here, okay? I want you guys to talk to Mustafa. We're taking a break from this podcast, and I just want you to talk. Mustafa, I'm happy that you're calling. You're doing okay?
Okay. Oh, yeah, everything's good. Just hanging in there.
How
How's it going?
That's good.
are you?
Hey, Julia. Good, how are you?
How are you being treated?
Huh?
How are you being treated?
Well, so far, I mean, everything is perfectly fine. Like, everything is good. The COs are on their best behaviors. Everyone's in compliance with,
As they should be.
yeah. Everybody's good. Like, I'm being treated good right now.
I
Compared
just
to before,
want to make sure.
Yeah, definitely a difference between night and day. Right now, everything's okay, but I'm just hanging in there because I don't trust that 1 minute I'm being choked out, and the next minute I'm being treated like like now everything is good. Here's the phone. I mean, so it's like I don't trust it. So I'm just taking it with a grain of salt. You know, I'm just hanging in there. Yeah.
Well, they're putting on a show because they know they're under a microscope, but we're not going anywhere, so they better not lay one finger on you.
Well, thank you, Julia. I really appreciate that because, like, back then
It's
I
not
used to
just
be
me. Everyone else is here, and they're not going anywhere either, I promise.
I appreciate that. Right now, I feel very secure. I feel safe. Having you guys by my side. You're actually doing God's work because there's a lot of misconduct that's been happening, and a lot of bad things have happened. But I feel like you are shedding light. Whatever's in the dark is coming to light. He was in 32 at the time.
You know, Mustafa.
So, I didn't get to tell you or Amar yet, but I was able through one of my sources. I actually can listen to the scanner inside, and it goes back. It saves it, so I get on and listen periodically. That's amazing.
I just wish I could get out of my cell sometimes.
Well, what's amazing, Shelley, is that you can go back as far as you want to.
I'm still on 24-hour lockdown. Like there's no.
Which is bullshit.
Yeah, I'm on 24-hour lockdown. I mean, they have this thing called 23 lockdown and then 1 hour out. I'm on 24-hour lockdown. I have not been out of my cell.
Mustafa,
Yeah, that's not that. I will file a report on that.
You got people here that have tablets. People like on other units, they're watching TV. They're in programs. I'm sitting in my cell 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Mustafa, I want to update everybody on what's going on with your civil lawsuit. We went and picked up the filing that you filed from inside solitary confinement. Mustafa, in light of Mustafa's lawyer Elaine Jarvis being purchased by the county, and 1 minute.
Abandoned me. She totally just abandoned me. In the middle of a war zone, and I'm captured as a prisoner of war, and I was hoping that she had my back. She just abandoned me. Now I'm defending myself.
I believe it because, and I'm not going to mention names, but she abandoned other people as well.
I mean, you know, Julia, I'll tell you, I have a whole entire motion that's 1 page, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 from solitary confinement. You're writing a whole entire motion to the federal court against Rachel Adams. You're filing your own motions. I mean, you know, I find it interesting that after they beat you, Casey Stevens, I have a police body cam, where Robert Drum, the same investigator that falsified your police report, they beat Mustafa on May 24, 2023. I have a body cam, a very disturbing body cam, where the investigator that falsified Mustafa's police report is coming up to Casey Stevens, Mustafa's lawyer at the time, and he's asking him, and they're conspiring against Mustafa, how they're gonna get Mustafa a mental health and write him off as incompetent so that he doesn't stand trial, so he can't testify during his trial. Now you want to tell me, and then at the time Casey Stevens is telling Robert Drum, I don't think we can get it fast enough. I don't think we can get it fast enough. Bureaucracy, blah, 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 blah. And they're conspiring on how they're going to write Mustafa off as incompetent so that he doesn't stand and testify against these police officers that falsified his police report. You want to tell me a guy that's writing a 20-page motion who used to be a paralegal is incompetent? And they thought that this was going to work. They're conspiring. How, in what world is it okay that you have a body cam? You know, Julia.
Illiterate, because you have to be evaluated for competency.
You know what they're doing? They beat Mustafa. You have 6 giant correctional officers, and we have the CCTV video. So it's no longer we're alleging that this happened. No, we have the video where a handcuffed Mustafa behind his back, an unconscious Mustafa, a naked Mustafa is carried by 6 giant correctional officers from one cell into another cell, and then they beat him again and abuse him and deny him medical. Now, this is no longer us alleging. We have their video. And right after they beat him, they're conspiring with your defense attorney to write you off as incompetent. Well, it's not going to work. Mustafa has a giant voice in this county. Through this podcast, Mustafa has 5 giant trucks that has his name on it, and is rolling around in the county. So whether the media want to report...
Across the nation.
Yes, ma'am. You know, Mustafa's voice is getting louder every day. And even though Elaine Jarvis, Mustafa's civil rights attorney, is purchased by the county, Mustafa continues to fight. He wrote his motion from inside the jail, from solitary confinement, and we're going into the discovery phase. And we're going to hold this jail accountable. We're going to hold this county accountable.
Like I said, I don't want to name names, but she also dropped other clients that had no knowledge of anything going on, anything about video. I mean, and with no reason. I mean, didn't even give them a reason, just dropped them.
Now, that is disturbing. You know, the whole time, you're telling me the whole time I'm working for Elaine as a paralegal, she tells me, compile a list of all the individuals that witnessed your brother's abuse inside the jail. So I give her that list. I give her phone number, addresses, their mom's phone number, their dad's phone number, their phone numbers, and she reaches out to them, and she puts them, and she promises them that she's going to start representing them. And then she puts them,
Gives them hope.
she gives them hope, false hope. And the whole entire time, she's not representing them. What she's doing is, at one point, I intercepted a phone call between Elaine Jarvis and Rodney Ward. I have a recording, a disturbing recording, where she's threatening Rodney and telling him not to testify for Mustafa. Now, Rodney is a key witness in Mustafa's case. He saw the abuse that Mustafa went through under the hand of these correctional officers. He saw what happened to 18-year-old Juan Campos, who 9 days into his incarceration was found unresponsive. And witnesses that came forward, including Rodney, including Mustafa, including other individuals, say that he died on the hand of a correctional officer, Eric Lindsay. What is Elaine Jarvis threatening Rodney Ward to not testify for Mustafa? I'll tell you what she was doing the whole entire time. She's compiling a list of all of Mustafa's witnesses. One, she puts them on an NDA, so that way they don't talk. And 2, she threatens them into not testifying for Mustafa. Now, all of a sudden, Elaine Jarvis drops Mustafa's case. It drops Rodney Ward's case. It drops Travis Isaac's case. It drops Muhammad Ikram's case. It drops Tatiana David's case, Emmanuel Espada. She drops all these individuals the minute that she found out whatever she's doing for Mustafa is not going to work. She's compiling a list of his witnesses, and she's been working against Mustafa ever since. I mean, it's one thing to drop Mustafa's case, but why did you drop everybody's case? Now, there's a time and place for all this BS. We have a court date on the 26th where Judge Funk has given us a whole entire day so I can go over exhibits to hold Elaine Jarvis accountable for what she's doing to my brother, what she's done to other individuals who are victims, who have been victimized by our county jail. To have a lawyer to step on individuals in our county, we have a whole entire day to hold her accountable. We have exhibits that's going to destroy Elaine Jarvis in court. And we're going to make sure that Elaine Jarvis will no longer practice law so that she doesn't get to do this to Mustafa and other individuals in the county. This is not acceptable.
Look, I just want to tell you that I remember December the 2nd, my trial was set. 2 weeks before my trial, on December the 2nd, they took away my visitation. They wrote me up on some bullshit, something about the lights being covered or whatever, in this new cell that they put me in. The lights were already covered. So they gave me a week. I disputed it. I said, okay, well, my lights were already covered. And then the sergeant came and he's like, oh, a week, you get 2 weeks. So 2 weeks of visitation. I'm not allowed to see my family. So that's the write-up. And then my trial is coming up on December the 2nd. And everyone is trespassed from the court. The Commonwealth attorney is trying to sequester the jury, which means conceal their identity. They're trying to have a private trial. They want to falsely convict me, throw me in prison, and just say, oh, this is a murderer, throw him away. That's what they thought.
You know,
But
Mustafa.
everything changed.
You know, Mustafa.
Everything changed.
Yeah.
God's work.
You know, I'll tell you, this prosecutor and is blocking what by law you're entitled to is to put the evidence on the record. It's been 2 years, and for a prosecutor that screams that you're guilty, why is she terrified of your evidence being on the record? It's supposed to be the other way around. Now, you have an audio that the police department admit that this dash camera has audio. There is a document in the discovery. Officer Zymus admit that this dash camera does in fact have audio, and the SD card has the audio is on the SD card. Now you're entitled to hire an independent expert to download this audio and put it on the record. Now, she's blocking that effort. She's blocking that you. Yes, sir.
Let me just explain something to you. The reason I purchased this camera in my car, this dash camera, I bought it from Best Buy because it has high quality audio and high quality video inside the car and outside the car. In case I get pulled over by a police officer, in case I get into a car accident, in case anything happens, theft or whatever, I have a nice high quality camera that I paid a lot of money for. So this camera was not just selected for it's not a $20 camera that I bought from Walmart or whatever. No, I actually looked at the qualities and the features of this camera and I purchased it.
Now,
it has high quality features.
Now I remember,
Audio is in there.
Mustafa, you know, I remember when I got back from overseas in 2018, our house had been raided by the police without a warrant. And I remember you filing a lawsuit against the police. And I remember every time we go anywhere, when you're promoting your business, when I'm promoting my business, we get pulled over. We get harassed by the police, left and right. And I remember you going out there and buying the most expensive dash camera. The most expensive dash camera. It goes outside and it goes inside. And I remember we're like, we're good. They can't fuck with us anymore. Okay? If they fuck with us, we're going to make sure it's on video.
Exactly.
Now,
and it has audio.
This is a Rexon dash camera. It has audio. Now, let me ask you a question. Right now, the police department position is that there is no audio. But unfortunately for them, I have their discovery. And in the discovery, it says that Officer Zymus with the digital forensic with Prince William County admit that this dash camera, the audio is there and it's on the SD card. Now, we're going to hire an independent expert. By law, you can hire an expert and we're going to be able to download this audio. Now, let me ask you a question. This is a Rexon dash camera. It's a very expensive dash camera. It's a very well-known brand. What if we file a civil lawsuit against Rexon and then ask them, where is the audio to your dash camera? I mean, this is a big brand. Do you honestly think that this police department is going to be able to play anymore? They're not going to be able to play anymore. Okay, we're going to file a lawsuit against Rexon. We're going to file a lawsuit against Chrysler. Now, Chrysler, a month into your vehicle accident, we got a letter, a recall letter, that the airbag will shoot shrapnel once it's deployed into the Chrysler, into your vehicle. Now, when I pull up the Discovery and I look at the autopsy report is supposed to be objective, it's supposed to be subjective. Now, why is it that Dorothy, your girlfriend, had a laceration on her head, a cut? Now, you had a cut on your head. This is consistent with shrapnel shooting out of the airbag. Why is that not on the autopsy report? Now, what if we file a lawsuit against Chrysler and have them involved in this county autopsy report? You file a civil lawsuit against the autopsy individual that wrote that report. Why are they not being objective and subjective into the details?
It sounds like it's a conspiracy between individuals of different departments, and they're all working in tandem to fit a narrative that's absolutely not true.
They want to cover this up. They want to cover this up.
They're covering up, and it's misconduct on all aspects. I mean, most importantly, if you have a forensic interviewer sitting there interviewing children, and then you have the police detective telling the child, had Mustafa not ran away from the scene, your babe sister would have been alive today. What the hell is going on here? And the worst part for them is that that's recorded on their own body camera. And they sealed the videos. They sealed the whole discovery. No one is allowed to see it. But now it's out. Now you get to make your own conclusion. They want to sequester the jury. Well, the jurors are everybody. You be the juror. Were we arguing in the car? There is no argument whatsoever. I'm pumping gas. I'm buying cigarettes at the gas station. Like what the hell is going on here? You have individuals such as Kyla Clapp, who's plotting to kill me. She's telling Glenn Ford she's trying to kill me and planning to kill me and stage it as an accident. That is very, very disturbing. And what's more disturbing is that Glenn Ford has Kyla Clapp, who was 16 at the time. She's in his bed. He's like, there is no boundaries. It's so inappropriate for a grown man who's 40 years old to have a child in his bed. He's a pedophile.
Mustafa, on that note, let's listen to that audio. On that note, let's listen to that audio. On a recorded line, a private investigator sits down. Glenn Ford, the jealous ex-boyfriend, admit to a private investigator that he slept with Kylie, the 16-year-old, Dorothy's daughter. That 16-year-old daughter went up to him and solicited to kill Mustafa and make it look like an accident. Now, this is Glenn Ford on a recorded line. And you find out later that Kylie, his dad, is working for Billy, the strip club owner, and she hangs out with the strippers. The club owner that had a problem a month before Mustafa got in a relationship with Dorothy. Now, unbeknownst to Mustafa, this is going on in the background. And the police department, when they use her into Mustafa's character, when they use her into what happened, into whether Mustafa had a good relationship with his family, with his girlfriend, with the kids, she wasn't there. She wasn't there. So how could the police department rely on her knowing that she solicited Mustafa to get killed? Let's listen to that conversation. Yes, ma'am.
Question for Mustafa.
Yes, ma'am.
Was Ava Dorothy's oldest child, or was that by another person?
Whose child? What's the question?
Shelly is asking you, is Ava Dorothy's child? And is it by the same mother? Is it by, have you met Ava? Do you know who Ava is?
I have never met Ava. I've never seen Ava. I've heard the name Ava, and that's Dorothy's child. That's her daughter.
Okay, so
But she's
that's her
somewhere,
oldest daughter.
she's somewhere with her father. So her dad is not Kylie's dad. Kylie's dad is Jason Clapp.
Right,
That's the person that does the tattoos for the strippers for Billy.
right.
So
Yeah,
Ava,
because
I don't.
I saw he had
I've never
pictures
met her. I
of
don't
Ava
know
on
who
her
that is.
his Facebook page.
Who? Jason Clapp?
Jason Clapp did.
Interesting. Yeah. So that must be his daughter too. I think.
He has 6 kids total. Ava, Kylie, Javen, Empress, Imagine, Emmanuel. So she has a total of 6.
I didn't know. By the way, I don't know any of this stuff. Like, all I know is that I've been just cooking, cleaning, and just
Right,
taking
yeah.
care of like the household, making sure there's a roof, and like I don't know how I got caught up in all of this mess. And then at the same time, Dorothy has like motherly qualities where she's caring, she's compassionate. Like, I really liked her, like, as a person. I loved the way she was. She was a really good person. She was striving to take care of her kids. And I wanted to help her out. And as I'm helping her out, I'm doing, like a father figure type of activities where I'm making sure everybody's good, making grilled cheese sandwiches, and I'm cooking for the whole neighborhood. We have an open house policy. Like,
Mustafa,
everybody's running in, grabbing food.
unfortunately for this prosecutor, we have the Google Nest, and as you're talking about what you're talking about, your relationship with Dorothy, I have the Google Nest in the background.
That camera right there, that camera captures motion detection. So, like, when people are moving around in the background, you can see the day of the accident, the day prior to the accident, like, you can see our interactions. There's no argument. There's no fighting. We don't even have this whole abusive thing that the prosecutor and the police is trying to paint. We don't have that. We don't have any of that. If we have a disagreement, verbal, whatever, it's like a normal person. Like, are you telling me I'm not allowed to have a personality? I'm not a robot. Like, we have disagreements. We talk like normal people. We were not
Right, and you
in
can't
a
plan how somebody
domestic
talks.
violent situation.
Everybody talks different.
Like,
No
all
matter
I
if it's
know,
cussing,
all I know is that,
it doesn't matter.
Shelly, say that one more time.
Everybody talks different. I said everybody talks different. Don't matter if it's cussing or not. Doesn't mean that's an argument.
oh, right. Like, I know I wasn't arguing at all. The day of the accident, I was telling Dorothy, like, I don't want to go. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just telling her, like, I don't feel like going.
The
She
Google
took
Nest
the day
shows
off
that.
from her work. She called
That's what the
her
Google Nest show.
supervisor,
Yep.
Emailed him or texted him. She told her supervisor she took the day off because it's her mom's birthday, so she's going to the gravesite. And she decided to take Empress with her. And then when I decided to tell her, like, all right, let's go, let's all go. And then she said, no, we're not taking all the kids with us. She just wanted to take Empress, just go to the gravesite, lay flowers, and then we'll be right back. I even had the carpet cleaner. I was going to clean the carpet for myself, for the apartment, and the neighbor's house. Because, like, I was doing a kind gesture for the neighbor. For free of charge. I'm not going to charge her. You know, I was going to do her carpet. I was going to, first of all, I was going to take Pharaoh, which is her young child, the young child, Pharaoh, and Imagine. Pharaoh wanted a game from GameStop. The night before the accident, we were going to Walmart. I gave him $12, such as like, you know, here, save up for your game, whatever. Here, I'll give you some money here, some money there. You'll save up for it. I gave him $12 the night before. The day of the accident, he gave me $12 so we can buy the new Zelda game for his Nintendo Switch. And
That's exactly what Farrell says in a forensic interview. That's exactly what he says.
Exactly. And you can ask him, who told the kids to stay home? Dorothy told everyone to stay home, and it's on camera. I don't even have to narrate or tell you guys what's going on. That particular day, she had her own keys. She could have went. She was already in the van downstairs while I was laying down, sleeping in the living room. When I woken up, all the kids were jumping on me, going through my phone, and FaceTiming me, saying, "Get ready, we're going to the gravesite." Like, I don't want to go. I don't feel like going. And then I'm like, okay. And then she convinced me, and I was like, okay, well, before we go, let's make sure that we cook, make sure everybody eat, and everything's good. And Dorothy eats vegan food. So cooking specific food for her, specific food for Empress, and then specific food for the boys.
Mustafa, let's watch the Google Nest. That's exactly what we're watching on the Google Nest. Is that Dorothy?
Like 2 hours.
You know,
We were cooking for 2 hours.
Dorothy, the prosecutor claimed that this is, in the beginning, they claimed that this is manslaughter. That's what they said in the beginning. Now, manslaughter, there are criteria that falls under manslaughter. You have to be either under the influence. Now, your toxicology report showed no alcohol, no drugs. You have to be reckless. You have to, now, your driving speed limit, the dash camera showed that your driving speed limit, you're not being reckless. You have to have some sort of way contributed to this accident because of your negligence that it will fall under manslaughter. Now, what this investigator have done, when there's nothing that falls under manslaughter, what he's done is during a conversation with you, who Muhammad, my other brother, your other brother, recorded, this investigator falsified your statement on the police report. He's asking you.
1 minute remaining.
He says you told him that you were arguing inside the vehicle. Now, Mustafa, do me a favor. Go ahead and call. When you call, we're gonna pick up this conversation.
Okay.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Now, we're gonna go over the audio conversation, and this is a good segment into going into that audio. This audio has been supplied to the police department, internal affairs. We got a letter from chief of police. That internal affairs ran an investigation and found out
This is a prepaid call.
that
from
investigator Drum, in fact, falsified
an
the police
inmate at the
reports.
Prince William Manassas jail. Your current balance is $40.
We have a recording.
$32.
We have a recording where
and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Mustafa, hello. Thank you for being on this podcast. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa through the police body cams. Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope. Now, Mustafa, we're going to take a deep dive into the audio recording between you and investigator Robert Drum. And this investigator on his police report claimed that you told him, he puts that in the police report. He writes, Mustafa told me I was angry at my girlfriend. I was arguing inside the vehicle. Now,
Absolutely not true. And I'll tell you what this investigator did. What he did, he twisted my words around. He took things out of context. And he twisted a whole conversation. I literally just got out of a car accident where I'm like a walking zombie. I'm trying to figure out what the hell is going on. I'm in total shock and grief. I'm grieving over my loved ones. I literally just lost my family in a blink of an eye. And this individual is twisting my words around.
Now we have.
I'm arguing.
Yes, sir. We have your body cams. We have document that says you lost consciousness for half an hour. You're in and out of consciousness. Call it whatever you want. A coma, unconscious. You came out of a coma. Now we have the body cams for the hospital. The paramedic apparently have injected you with 50 mcg of fentanyl. Now, 50 mcg of fentanyl can knock down a horse for 9 hours. 9 hours. They injected you with 50 mcg of fentanyl. Your blood toxicology report shows that you're not under alcohol, you're not under drugs, but these paramedics injected you with fentanyl. Now, they played a very disgusting game, and the whole entire, we have those body cams, and we're going to take a deep dive into those body cams. Those body cams show.
Why would they inject me with fentanyl and then interrogate me in the hospital? They're trying to get a perspective that I have no emotions when they tell me I lost my family members.
That's
when
exactly.
They're trying to see that I don't have any emotions. And when I go to court, the judge is trying to suppress the parts where I'm crying, the parts where I'm in total distress when they're telling me I lost my family members. They're playing these manipulation games like that's inhumane. But for them to act and conceal the true motive behind why they induced me with fentanyl for pain purposes, they don't care about my pain. When I came to the jail, they beat the crap out of me because they put a hit out on me to deem me incompetent. They thought by punching me fist closed and stomping me out and maliciously beating me, thinking that I'm not going to be competent, I was protected by angels. I literally came back from death twice, from the car accident and from the death in here in this jail. And I still maintain I'm competent and I'm going to stand trial and I'm going to speak. I'm going to tell the world what the hell is going on.
Mustafa, unfortunately for this prosecutor and the police department, we have all your body cam. As you're talking about what went on in the hospital, I have the body cam playing on the screen, and it shows that for 4 hours, they inject you with 50 mcg of fentanyl, and then for 4 hours, it shows that they're interrogating you, and at the same time, they're telling you that your family is okay. We're taking care of them. They're going to be okay. And then after 4 hours, Officer Chad Mason comes in with a camera, is recording, and he's telling you your family has been deceased, dead 4 hours ago, hoping that you're injected with 50 mcg of fentanyl, you're out of it, and you're not going to have a reaction. So that way they would take this body cam, this police body cam, to the prosecutor and say, prosecutor, look, he doesn't care about his family. Now, when they saw that, Mustafa, when they saw... Exactly.
And I begged them. I said, please, let me go see Empress. They're telling me she's upstairs somewhere. I said, please, let me go hold her hands. Maybe I can save her. Maybe I can, be there for emotional support. I'll be there by her side. They said, because you're not next of kin, you're not, immediate family, you cannot see her. So when they released me, the first thing on my mind is to make sure the other kids at the house are okay. They're home alone. They're okay. That's the only thing that I was thinking about. And I'm in total pain, total distress, total pain. And when I dropped them off at the neighbor's house, my brother called the lead investigator, and the lead investigator told my brother, under no circumstances are those kids to go with Mustafa. I didn't leave the kids. I would love to ensure and make sure they're okay. I never left the kids. The first thing on my mind when I was released from the hospital in total pain, I went to make sure the kids were okay. That's the first thing on my mind.
Now, Mustafa, we have a video. We have a detailed video of the whole entire incident. I find it disturbing that in the discovery, they went up to the neighbor, Nini, and she has a door camera, a camera inside the apartment. And what they've done is they only put in the discovery a portion of us being there. That when you were there, when mom and everybody was there, they didn't put the camera before when everybody was there, and they didn't put the camera afterward. That shows what she was telling the kids, what the kids were telling her, and it's so weird, it's so disturbing that only a small portion of the whole interaction is there, that it doesn't really show anything, and it leaves a door for Glenn Ford and Nini to say whatever narrative they want. And they're so angry that Muhammad, your other brother, Muhammad, recorded the whole entire thing from the beginning to end. Now, there is no room for Nini and the jealous ex-boyfriend to lie about what happened. They wanted to say that you ran away from the hospital and just went there to get rid of the kids, to throw the kids at Nini. Well, we have a video of the whole thing. Your main priority was the kids. You just woke up from a coma. Your main priority is the kids. You're under 50 mcg of fentanyl by the paramedics, but your number one priority is you're crying, you're making sure the kids are okay, you want to make sure the kids are okay, and it's on the body cam for the police. Officer Chad Mason in the hospital falsified your police report, and he said Mustafa did not care when he was told that his family was deceased. Now, that's the police report. Now, when we watch the body cam, you're crying, you're broken, and all you ask is about Dorothy and Empress. When you left the hospital, you go to the apartment, we take you to the apartment, and all you're doing is making sure the kids are okay. And the police are telling Muhammad, under no circumstances can you take the kids. Nini says, don't call the police. But Muhammad called the police anyway. And the police says, no, you can't take the kids. Now, you're under 50 mcg of fentanyl, and you're in no shape or form to take care of the kids, not alone take care of yourself. And we're forcing you that we're gonna take you home to our Staffords. Okay, Nene, you say you trusted Nene. Nene says you can leave the kids with me. She said I'm gonna call immediate family. Those are not your kids. You can't take them even if you wanted to. Does that make sense? Now there's a video of the whole entire incident. Now,
Let's not forget, Nene kept saying that Mustafa kept calling to check on the kids to her.
Exactly. Now I have a recording, an interesting recording that I've never publicized of Nene the next day, and I have a recording of the rest of the night where Mustafa is calling the hospital. Mustafa and Muhammad are calling the hospital. Mustafa is making sure he wants to talk to 5-year-old Empress. He wants to be there. Now, I have a recording of the whole entire incident when they're sitting down with Nene, who doesn't say anything to Robert Drum or Investigator Davis, that Mustafa priority was to check on the kids. Now, I have a recording of the next day when Mom is talking to Nene, Kim Coleman, Tanisha Coleman. Now, obviously, these individuals are lying about Mustafa. Apparently, there's a recording where 16-year-old Kylie, who has Glenn Ford wrapped around her finger, a 40-year-old man, the ex-boyfriend of Dorothy, who happened to be living in the same complex, who he says, I don't know Mustafa, I've never talked to Mustafa, and then he says, oh, I talked to Mustafa through texting. I texted Dorothy's cell phone. And Mustafa texted me through Dorothy's cell phone. And then Investigator Davis asked him, so what did Mustafa tell you through Dorothy's cell phone? He's like, the text that I got is, leave me alone. Leave me the fuck alone. I love Mustafa. Just leave me the fuck alone. And he's like, that's not Dorothy, that's Mustafa. Well, is it possible that Dorothy is telling you to leave her the fuck alone? And you're sitting there with a straight face telling Investigator Davis on a body cam that, yeah, this is not Dorothy, this is Mustafa. What? Bro, you're senile. You're a lunatic. You're on a recorded line saying that you're fucking a 16-year-old. Kylie, she has you wrapped around her finger. Now, Kylie admit on a recorded line that her dad worked for Billy. Billy, the club owner, who had a giant problem with Mustafa. Let's watch that video and listen to the recordings of Glenn Ford and Kylie. So that way we put things in perspective. Mustafa, I want you to bear with me until I play this video.
Hey, hold on 1 second.
Okay. All right. All right. While you take care of whatever you're taking care of, okay, we're going to play this video. This is Billy. This is a club owner out of Crystal City. Mustafa goes to that location. It's public property. Mustafa has been going there for 3 years, over 3 years. Mustafa has a small business that he promote and sell his physical therapy equipment devices out of that location. He sells his heat warmer. It's public property. It's a public easement. Billy has no right to kick Mustafa off that property. One day, Billy decides to kick Mustafa off of public property. Now, it's a strip club. To the right, there's a Chinese restaurant. To the left, there's a 7-Eleven. Billy has no right to kick Mustafa off that property. Now, I was there with Mustafa, and we would go there, and I would promote my business. I have a roadside assistant business. I have a mobile mechanic business. I promote my business, and I help my brother promote his business. He sells heat warmers, physical therapy equipment, those small devices that you find that are FDA approved. That's Mustafa's business. Now, Billy comes out of nowhere, this giant white racist guy, and is breathing down my brother's neck, screaming at him. So I take out my cell phone, hoping that this crazy man is going to realize that he's being recorded, the police are going to be there, and hopefully de-escalate. Now, this video went viral. A white racist man being racist to a Mustafa. Now, over 7 million people saw this video at the time. People started duetting this video. The community started boycotting his establishment for being racist to Mustafa, a white guy being racist to Mustafa when all he's trying to do is make a living and promote his business. Now, unbeknownst to Mustafa, a month into this video, Mustafa met Dorothy. Dorothy's daughter, the 16-year-old, happens to have her dad work for Billy, and apparently he pierces all the strippers for Billy. Do you know what kind of relationship you have to have for her dad to be able to pierce all the strippers? That's a deep relationship, to be able to pierce strippers for a club owner. Now, that's her dad. And Kylie, on a recorded line, admit that she hangs around with all the strippers, who at the time, before this incident, used to promote Mustafa's business, used to help Mustafa with his business, and loved Mustafa. After this incident, if you know anything about the atmosphere of a strip club, when the owner is upset, the strippers follow. Now, those strippers turned from loving Mustafa to hating Mustafa, and they start antagonizing Mustafa to make sure they're good with their boss. Now, apparently, 16-year-old Kylie Clapp is hanging around those strippers. And in the background, Mustafa just happened to meet her mom a month into this incident. Now, when we review the forensic interview, when we look at the documents, when we look at the body cam, Kylie says a lot of hearsay about Mustafa and apparently hates Mustafa. Now, she's repeating the same sentiments of the individuals that she's hanging around. She's hanging around Billy. She's hanging around her dad, who works for Billy. She's hanging around the strippers. Let's listen to that audio of what Kylie is talking about.
My dad, he's a piercer. He pierces like a lot of strippers, and he had brought up to them what happened, and they were and who they were, and they were like, yeah, we know this guy. Like, he used to record our license plates and put it on the internet and like follow us home and stuff. So I also was thinking, I don't want them to follow me home, and I don't
Kylie,
want myself in a position
what are
where-
we talking about? Your dad works for Billy. You hang around the strippers that hate Mustafa. Are you repeating the same sentiments of the same individuals that hate Mustafa? That's what we see. A lot of hearsay. And you're repeating the same thing that Billy and the strippers are saying about Mustafa. Now let's listen to what Glenn Ford, the ex-boyfriend, the jealous ex-boyfriend, who also has a lot of hearsay to say about Mustafa. She has that 40-year-old man wrapped around her finger. And on a recorded line, he's admitting to a private investigator that he fucked that 16-year-old, that he slept with her, and she asked him to kill Mustafa. And can we make it look like an accident? Let's listen to the audio.
Especially the older daughter. Like, she wanted me to shoot, like, kill him.
The older daughter wanted you to kill him?
Yeah. Like, man, like, could you please, like, if I make it look like, so, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, something, and it's like self-defense, would you do it? And I'm like, no.
She solicited that Mustafa gets killed by Glenn Ford, and can we make it look like an accident? Where today, we have police body cams, where they show that the police department is admitting that Mustafa's vehicle was tampered with. The brake doesn't work, the drive shaft disconnected from the engine, and Mustafa, on the computer inside the vehicle, shows that he hit the brake and he did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. Can you... That Mustafa did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. Now you have private investigators on a body cam admit that Mustafa did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. Now they concealed those body cams, but we have them, and investigator Robert Drum, investigator Chad Mason say that all these are Mustafa's skid marks, and Mustafa cleared the vehicle, and the SUV turned into him. And what they're talking about is that Mustafa did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. We have a dash camera that shows that Mustafa did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. Now, why is the police department not looking into this? We're going to continue to have a conversation until we get them to investigate. and have a proper investigation. Let's listen to the audio where Glenn Ford is talking about sleeping with this 16-year-old. He says she would show up all high. She doesn't know where she's at. And she would show up high. And he would wake up to her in his bed. Listen.
Like just weed or? No, it's not weed. If it was weed, I wouldn't care as much. Yeah. She used to come in and like nodding. And it's like on the ground like like opiates. Man, I'm sitting there like, bruh. Like I take them. Well, I took them. Yeah. And I didn't.
He takes them, but he doesn't act like that. But when she takes him, she doesn't know where she's at. Now, at one point in the recording, you'll hear he says he wakes up with her in his bed, that she's arguing with her mom about fucking the same guy. Listen.
Not the older daughter, but the other daughter. I think she did some shit with her. How old was she? 16? 15 or 16. The one time my daughter came to my house on high and shit, I'm like, yo, nah. I told her, like, yo. Like, just weed or? No, it's not weed. If it was weed, I wouldn't care as much. Yeah. She used to come in and like nodding. And it's like on the ground like like opiates. Man, I'm sitting there like, bruh. Like I take them. Well, I took them. Yeah. And I didn't act like yeah. That was like me. I used to do it like to the point where I took it because I didn't want to get sick with withdrawal. Yeah. So I took like one. I'm good for the day. Yeah. She looked like she took like multiple, or she took them like different ways. Did with her? No. I know it for a fact. Dorothy didn't do pills with her, but she would smoke weed with her. Okay. I told Dorothy, your daughter comes to this house like that. Why do you think that she did something like she did what happened to her with that one? My daughter said it. What the fuck she say? Like when she was arguing with her mom, like, cause Dorothy and her used to argue all the time. It is not the oldest Not the oldest one. The oldest one, she's a sweetheart. She's a fucking sweetheart. She gangster too. Nah. She gangster, like, she's ready to kill that nigga. Like, seriously kill that nigga. She's the one that wanted to kill. The older one. So what did she say to? Oh, cause they be arguing. Yeah, and she be like, the way she dressed and shit. Dorothy be like, you run around acting like a little slut or whatever. And she be like, oh, you need to pop all the hell back because we used to fuck the same guys and da-da-da-da and all that shit. I'm like, oh. What? Y'all gotta go. Wow. Y'all gotta go. Wow. And she was only 16? And said we used to? I'm like, yo, y'all gotta go. This shit right here, like, nah, I'm not about that life, nah. I don't want no cops knocking on my door asking for you. Wow. And they did that too. After I kicked her out or whatever, the school system came. It's like, yeah, it's Dorothy Fontaine. I'm like, yo, she don't fucking live here. What do I live for? Yeah, because her kids haven't been in school for weeks. I'm like, I don't know where she at. She doesn't live here. She never lived there. Like. A lot of her behaviors remind me of someone who has a substance abuse problem. No, she never, like, she didn't do no drugs. What about that Mustafa guy? I don't know. I just think she either smokes weed. Cause I even asked her, like, you know what I'm saying, like, yo, you on? Is he alcoholic? I just know he smokes weed. I asked her, like, you know what I'm saying, because at that time I was taking the shit. And I was like, it wouldn't be a problem. Like, you know what, just to tell me that I won't, if I trying to sleep in my bed. Like, no, go in the fucking living room, yo. I'm like, you're not sleeping in my bed, not with me in it. Like, I don't want none of that drama. I don't want to be part of it, none of that shit. One time I went to sleep, I woke up, she was in my bed. I got my ass up and went in the fucking living room and stuff. Like, nah, it's right, yeah. Like, I fuck with you, my friend and all that. Like, I know we had a history, we had a friend, whatever, but this is different. This is fucking different. We are grown. You are still you're in a worse situation what I met you in. Yeah. I had to force those kids to take a shower. I had to force those kids to take a fucking shower. I had to teach them how to fucking take a shower. I mean, I wasn't in there with the boys looking at them or whatever. I'm like, yo, when y'all wash up, you know, that's how you wash up. Every day when I come home from work, whatever, I spend at least an hour of my time teaching that little boy how to
A 40-year-old man forcing kids to shower. A 40-year-old man forcing kids to shower. And he says, I wasn't looking at them. I'm just teaching them how to shower. Really? Who the fuck are you trying to fool here, brother? We have you on a recorded line admitting to a private investigator that you're forcing kids to shower. You're looking at kids while you shower. You know how fucking weird this is?
How weird that is. Can I tell you something? It's really inappropriate for him to have no boundaries in an environment like that. They're not his kids. When I was in my apartment with Dorothy and the kids, I let Dorothy handle the laundry. Dorothy handles the kids' hygiene. She handles everything. I take care of going out there and getting money. And she works with me whenever she's done from 9 to 5 on her nursing job from the computer. She goes out there with me. We DoorDash, we sell our physical therapy products, and we take care of business. But in the meantime, I let the mother take care of the motherly work. What is this weirdo doing? Showering kids? Or sleeping in the same bed with Kylie with no boundaries? This is so inappropriate. That's what the prosecutor should be looking at. They should be really investigating these type of conducts. They're disgusting.
You know, Mustafa.
Locked up in solitary confinement.
You know, Mustafa, I find it disturbing that Amy Hotchkiss, the witness that pretends she's on a police body cam with investigator Robert Drum, an individual claimed that she's Amy Hotchkiss. Now, I find the same individual on the internet under the identity of Christine Alcazay. Now, this individual, I have recording of her saying that you were washing the kids, that you were doing this to the kids. This is a year ago. A year ago, she said that about you. Now, I find it interesting that Glenn Ford, on a recorded line, admitting that he was the one that was doing this. And apparently, Amy Hotchkiss knows who Glenn Ford is. And this is a desperate attempt to cover up for what Glenn Ford was doing to the kids. And she wants to say, you're doing it. We have Glenn Ford on a recorded line say that he was forcing the kids to shower, sleeping with Kylie. But then here you have Amy Hotchkiss, a.k.a. Christine Alcazay. Anything that Glenn Ford was abusing the kids, she's putting it under you. She's telling investigator Drum that you're doing it. She's online engaging in defaming you when it's Glenn Ford that's the abusive boyfriend. And I find it disturbing that the police department, everything that Glenn Ford does and did to the kids, are saying you're the one that did it. Now I have the ex-husband, Divine Jones, tell investigator Romero that Glenn Ford abused the kids. Glenn Ford abused Dorothy. Glenn Ford is the abusive ex-boyfriend. In the discovery, in the police report, this is what the body cam showed. Now, in the discovery, the police report, they removed Glenn Ford and they put your name in it. They put that Divine Jones said you were abusing Dorothy. That Divine Jones said you abused the kids. When in fact, when you look at the body cam, Divine Jones is specifically talking about Glenn Ford. This is a failed attempt by this police department to falsify your police reports and turn the narrative around. Now, we have all their body cams, we have all their discovery, and we're putting on the internet, and the community is watching. And these people are terrified because the body cams are coming out, the discovery is coming out, and the Googleness inside the apartment is coming out. And we have Glenn Ford on a recorded line admit to a private investigator of what he's doing to these kids. That Kylie Clapp has him wrapped around her finger, asking him to kill Mustafa. Can we make it look like an accident? Mustafa, what the fuck is going on here?
What's going on here is that
This is Amy Hodgkins, by the way. Amy Hodgkins, Mustafa, Amy Hodgkins. I have her picture, aka Christine Alcazai, who is attempting to cover up for Glenn Ford. She has him
1 minute remaining.
on her live, but the jig is up and the diddlers have been identified. Mustafa, you have 1 minute. Can you call back?
yes.
Beautiful. It's 10:37.
All right, I'm going to hang up a call right now.
Okay.
On that note, I just want to say the diddlers have been identified. And that right there, man, oh man, you have gold in your hand. So,
The jig is up. The diddlers have been identified. And when you call back, we're going to continue to have
Thank you
this
for using
conversation.
Global Towing.
Now, this individual claim let's see, let's pull up what she says that she look.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Prince William Manassas Jail. To accept this call, press 0. Your current balance is $38.84. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Mustafa, hello. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa through the police body cams. Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope. Mustafa, thank you for joining the podcast.
thank you for having me. Hello. Just want to tell everyone that the truth is coming out no matter what. No matter what, the truth is coming out. And I'm coming out no matter what. The truth is going to set me free. And the evidence is, now it's out. The seal has been broken, and they tried to cover up, they tried to hide, and everything is coming out. So justice for Dorothy and Empress, justice for Tatiana David, and justice for Mustafa, justice for all.
Mustafa, we have all your police body cams. We have all the discovery, and those individuals are identified, and we're having a conversation. Now, this is on a body cam, on a specific body cam. We have Stephanie Claiborne, the wife of the investigator, who does not work for the police department. What is the wife of the investigator doing on a phone call when he's talking to an individual that claimed that she's Amy Hodgkins? And she is giving a narrative to what she believes is happening. She's painting a monster of a Mustafa. She's giving this investigator a narrative. And then she says, I don't know Mustafa. I don't know Dorothy. Kylie is the one that knows everything. Now, we took a deep dive into who Kylie is, Dorothy's 16-year-old daughter. Now, we find Stephanie Claiborne under username Kate0707 on TikTok with Amy Hodgkins under the name of Christine Alcazai. She claims that her name is Christine Alcazai. This is what she looks like, by the way. TikTok is interesting because when you don't turn on your camera, you put a picture. If you come close enough, your picture is going to show up. who you are. One day, her face came a little bit too close to the cell phone, and this came out. So we've identified Christine Alcazar, aka Amy Hotchkiss. It's the same person that's on the police body cam, is on the internet, trolling the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. Now, this is what she really looks like. That's her.
What the hell is that?
What the hell is that? Now, this is what she wants to tell everybody that she looks like. Everybody, I mean, I don't have to show you the other pictures to know that this is a cartoon, a heavily filtered face. Okay, a 70-year-old lady does not look like this. Okay, all right. This is a heavily filtered picture. She wants to tell everybody that's what she looks like. Under the name of Christine Alcazar, Christine Warda, number 7. This is who she tell people. And then one day, this popped up. And we're like, what the hell is even that? Let's play that video. Mustafa, we're going to play a video that's relevant to what we're talking about. All right. So just to explain.
You're trespassing on my property.
That's how we felt when we saw that.
You have my house. That's my shit. I won it. You're trespassing on my property. You didn't win shit in my yard. Wait. All of you.
Daddy, chill.
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even
What the hell is even that? Okay. Okay.
Oh my god.
That's how we felt when we saw that come out. Now, we're going to listen to the body cam of Amy Hotchkiss. And what the hell are we even talking about? There's a police body cam where Amy Hotchkiss, a.k.a. Christine Alcazar, is on there lying about Mustafa. Now, she's online trolling and defaming Mustafa and trolling the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. And is comfortable thinking that no one is going to find out what's going on. Well, unfortunately for Christine Alcazar, a.k.a. Amy Hotchkiss, we've identified who she is. We've identified Dale.
Can you play that with Robert Drum and Stephanie Claiborne Drum in the background?
Of course.
Amy Hodson.
Of course we're going to play it.
And just put it in perspective of what we're dealing with here.
Of course we're going to play it. Okay? So that way.
She said all this stuff about me. I don't even know this lady.
Let's
She's
listen.
writing me love letters here. I'm like, who is this Christine Alcazar?
Mustafa, she reaches out to me on TikTok about a year ago, and she says, my name is Christine Alcazar. My husband is originally from Iraq, where you guys are originally from. And automatically, she says, I want to help Mustafa. What he's going through is not okay, and I want to advocate for Mustafa. I'm an advocate. Automatically, I trust that lady because she's telling me my husband is from Iraq. So so I go up to my mom. I'm like, Ma, there's this lady that she says her husband is from Iraq, and she says she wants to help Mustafa. Now, really quickly, we found out that this lady is nothing but more than a fat fuck that is gaslighting us into helping Mustafa, and she's not helping Mustafa. She's just trolling and gaslighting us. Now, we distance ourselves from her, and then all of a sudden, she's on the internet talking shit about Mustafa. And then, in light of the body cams that are coming out, we found out that she's on a police body cam saying that she's Amy Hotchkiss, and she's lying about Mustafa. Let's listen to that body cam.
The reason I'm sitting in jail is because of these false statements from these individuals where they have caused tort, pain, and suffering. They have misled the police. The police are aiding and abetting the bad cops. But now play that audio between Robert Trump, Stephanie Claiborne Trump, his wife, in the background. She's saying, oh my gosh. And then that's Amy Hodson, who claims to be Christine Alcazar, pretending to be my advocate in here, saying, you're innocent. She is involved. Because of her and the others, I'm sitting in jail today.
Mustafa.
These false statements.
the police are aiding and abetting and are allowing these people to manufacture probable cause because you were in a lawsuit with the police. Mustafa had a giant lawsuit before the vehicle accident, over $500,000 lawsuit, and the police are taking advantage of a tragic vehicle accident. It's on dash camera, it's a vehicle accident. The computer inside the vehicle shows it's a vehicle accident. The police on their body cams that were sealed, but we have them now, admit that this is a vehicle accident. The police mechanic admit there is mechanical failure. It's a vehicle accident. Now, the police are taking advantage of this vehicle accident and are allowing individuals like Amy Hodgkins, the jealous ex-boyfriend Glenn Ford, 16-year-old Kylie, who had a relationship with the club owner, who had a problem with Mustafa, to lie about Mustafa and manufacture probable cause. Mustafa has been sitting in solitary confinement for the past 2 years based on manufacture probable cause. And they're angry because now we have the body cams and the discovery that shows that they've lied about Mustafa. Let's listen to what the lawyer, before we play the body cam of Amy Hodgkins, I want to put things in perspective. I want to play the audio conversation between us and Mustafa's lawyer, who was representing Mustafa when he had a lawsuit against the police. This lawsuit went from 2018 all the way to the vehicle accident. This was an active lawsuit. Let's hear what the lawyer has to say.
The investigator that wrote the report, he lied on the report. We recorded that conversation.
I'm sure he did.
Yes, sir.
Frankly, I'm sure they all know that you sued the Stafford cops. And they beat your brother up because they know that you sued the Stafford cops.
Yes, sir. The investigator.
They beat Mustafa. They're retaliating because he sued the Stafford cops. And they're retaliating. They're taking advantage of a vehicle accident and allowing individuals like these individuals, Amy Hodgkins, Glenn Ford, Kylie Clapp, to manufacture probable cause. Now, I find it disturbing that we have this individual who's trolling the Mustafa Al-Jazari online is on a police body cam. And you don't have to take my word for it. This is the body cam. Let's listen to this conversation. Mustafa, bear with me. There we go. Got it.
I ordered a pop ring. Look how freaking cute that is.
Do you want a custom engraved necklace with your pet's face?
Yes, sir. Hello. Hi, Dale.
Is this Amy Hodgson?
No, this is Dale.
Okay, well, I got a phone call in reference to a Miss Hodgson.
Let's put it right here.
She called in and used this number for us to call her back.
Oh, okay, no problem. Yeah, let me get it for you.
Thank you.
You hear Dale pick up Amy Lucille Hodgson. Amy Lucille Hodgson. We've identified Dale. We've identified where every piece of information that needed to be identified, we have it. We've supplied it to the DOJ, the FBI agents that we're working with. And it's an ongoing investigation. Some individuals are supplying us with information. We're supplying some individuals with information. We have individuals that fall under the category of private investigators. And the best is yet to come.
Okay.
And I'm going to forward this email I got to you right now. Miss Hodgson.
Now, keep in mind, he's forwarding the email to his wife, Stephanie Claiborne. That does not work for the police department. Who's on the internet with Amy Hodgkins, a.k.a. Christine Alcazai, trolling the conversation. And they're using resources from the police department to go after anybody that advocates for Mustafa. This is Christina Warda on TikTok under this picture, who claims to be Christine Alcazar. This is her. But that's what she really looks like. And that's her picture. And she's with Kate0707, aka Stephanie Claiborne, the wife of the investigator, on the phone with Amy Hodgkins. And he's supplying her an email that Amy Hodgkins sent him. You want to talk about police misconduct? That's the epitome of police misconduct.
Listen, my name is Investigator Drum. I work for the Prince William County Crash Unit. I got a very interesting email from you, or at least a email from communications about information you had in reference to the crash that occurred the other night.
Yeah.
So, can you tell me what you know?
I can. Can you give me 1 second and let me, can you give me 1 second?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. 1 second.
You got your email open?
No, I stepped out of class.
Now, that's the wife of the investigator. Listen to this. She's on TikTok under Kate0707. Listen to her online. This is Stephanie Claiborne on TikTok with Amy Hodgkins. Listen to this.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, could you imagine? Oh my gosh, could you imagine? Oh my gosh, could you imagine? Oh my gosh, could you imagine?
If you listen to Stephanie Claiborne, Kate0707, you have her sitting on a live with Christine Alcazar every day using Prince William County resources. And what do? They threaten that if anybody advocates for Mustafa, they're going to post their kids on the internet until they stop advocating for Mustafa. Let's listen to... And then we'll go back into the body cam. There we go. There we go. There we go. Bear with me. There we go.
It's vacant. I'm mad and I'm doing something about it. I'm trying to find a way to justify.
Hey, don't worry. Trust me. I'll continue.
See if I can make it a little bit louder. Hang on. Mustafa, bear with me. Let me just pull up the video.
Okay.
There we go.
It's vacant. I'm mad and I'm doing something about it. They're trying to find a way to justify.
Hey, don't worry.
So you have Christine Alcazar under Joe Schmo.
Mustafa wasn't in.
It's
You have Kate0707, who's Stephanie Claiborne, the wife of the investigator that falsified the police report using Prince William County resources, on the same live with Glenn Ford, the pedophile that fucked a 16-year-old and now is sitting there lying about Mustafa, who that 16-year-old she has him wrapped around her finger. What does Kylie Clapp, that 16-year-old, have on Glenn Ford that she's comfortable to blackmail him into soliciting him to kill Mustafa. Can we kill Mustafa and make it look like an accident? They're all sitting on the same live. Listen.
It's vacant. I'm mad. It's vacant. I'm mad, and I'm doing something about it. They're trying to find a way to justify.
Hey, don't worry.
She's mad and she's doing something about it. Amy Hodgkins is mad and she's doing something about it. Who's Christina Alcazar, Amy Hodgkins, is mad and she's doing something about it by having Stephanie Claiborne use Prince William County resources to go after anybody by posting their kids if you advocate for Mustafa. Let's keep listening.
Trust me, I'll continue and continue and continue.
Yeah.
I'll continue until
They deserve everything they're getting from you because they're just nasty people.
Mark's on a mission.
You see how Mary Jo came over? Nice to have her on board.
Yep. I think Mary Jo is about to really take them videos down, and she's about to come forward and let them.
Now, pay attention to this voice because you're about to hear this voice on a body cam with investigator Drum and Stephanie Claiborne, the wife of the investigator who falsified Mustafa's police report.
Them know that she don't believe them anymore.
Well,
I just want to hug Mary Jo. I feel like she probably needs a hug.
I trust her at this point, but if I catch her over there hanging out, it's going back up. But at the moment, I trust her. I take her word. She seems like she's sincere, so as am I.
I mean, the second I said come in on your own account and come in and support Kylie, she did it right away.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm telling you, the other day, I remember I came in and I said, guys, I was just in Mary Jo's room, remember?
Yep.
I told, she wasn't paying attention, then she looked at the comments, and in the comments, I said to her, I said, oh, look, aren't you the one that supports child murdering? And, literally, she read it and, started, breaking down and started crying, and then, 3 days later, or I don't know, 2-3 days later, she's in here,
It's vacant.
So Stephanie Claiborne uses Prince William County resources. And anybody that talks about her husband who falsified the police report, she's going to post their kids. Let's go back and listen to the body cam of Amy Hodgkins. But before we do, let's pull up one more video where you hear Stephanie Claiborne's voice. I think let's put things in perspective. Yeah, Mustafa? Let's listen to Stephanie Claiborne. So when everybody's listening to the body cam, you can identify the voice and you understand what is going on here.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine? Oh my gosh, could you imagine?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine? Oh my gosh, could you imagine?
So we took her voice from the body cam and we're comparing it with the voice on the live, and you find out it's the same person that sits on the same live with Stephanie Claiborne, that sits on the live with Amy Hodgkins. Now, you have the wife of the investigator who's protecting her husband and trolling the conversation, the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. By protecting her husband, anybody that talks about her husband falsifying the police report, she's there. And she's going to make sure that she's going to troll the conversation using Prince William County resources, threatening anybody that's online. By doing what? By posting your kids. If you look at the body cams, God help you if you look at the body cams. God help you if you look into the Mustafa Al-Jazari case, because this lady is going to come after you. She's going to make sure to post your kids. Multiple people with their kids been posted on the internet. Casey, Julia, Shelly, everybody. There's a lot of people. including our 4-year-old niece. Now, let's listen to the body cam. Now that we've listened to that voice on the live, we've put things in perspective, so that way when you listen to the body cam, you're identifying these individuals.
Yes, sir. Hello. Hi, Dale. Is this Amy Hodgson? No, this is Dale. Okay, well, I got a phone call in reference to a Miss Hodgson. She called in and used this number for us to call her back. Oh, okay, no problem. Yeah, let me get her for you. Thank you. Okay.
He's gonna get.
And I'm going to forward this email I got to you right now. Miss Hodgson. Yes. My name is Investigator Drum. I work for the Prince William County Crash Unit. I got a very interesting email from you, or at least a email from communications about information you had in reference to the crash that occurred the other night. Yes. So, can you tell me what you know? I can. Can you give me 1 second and let me... can you give me 1 second? Absolutely. Okay, thank you. 1 second.
I can't get hard, not even with the blue pills. Will the salt trick work for me?
I haven't been able to take my eyes off my husband's pants since he started drinking salt water before.
Can you blame her if this is the conversation? That's Amy Hodgkins. Amy Hodgkins. Amy Lucille Hodgkins. You can run. I don't know if you can run. But you're not going to hide. You're definitely not going to fucking hide.
Listen to the content.
All right, let's.
She's telling him I did it intentional. That's what she's telling him.
All right.
Where is she coming up with this, whatever?
She said, talk to Kylie. Kylie knows everything. I don't know Mustafa. I don't know Dorothy. Listen to Kylie. Listen.
You got your email open?
No, I stepped out of class. Take your call.
She knows about the accident. She said it was planned by the husband.
How does she know that?
Yeah, I'm going to ask those questions.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. No, you're good. So tell me how you know, tell me how you know Miss Dorothy.
Okay, I don't know her. I know one of her daughters.
You know one of her daughters?
She doesn't know her. She knows her daughter. Listen.
Daughter Kylie.
Okay.
The little girl that came to the hospital yesterday.
Okay.
I don't know, were you there at the hospital?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So, my granddaughter goes to school with Kylie.
Okay.
Her older sibling. I have known about her mother and a little bit about her stepfather for a while now. Kylie was removed from the home. Apparently there's been a lot of abuse, neglect, malnourishment, all that with the other children.
Now, mind you, she's talking about the stepfather. The stepfather is Divine Jones. And in the recording, you'll hear that she's making a clear distinction between the stepfather, and the boyfriend.
In the house?
Okay.
Actually, Kylie's mother was supposed to have no contact with Kylie.
Okay, so she's so separated by CPS.
I don't know what they call it now, but however, she was still having contact with Kylie. So this is how I'm coming to know of a little bit of this situation. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of the background of how I know.
Okay.
So
Now, pay close attention to Investigator Drum. As an investigator, he's supposed to be able to be objective, subjective, and is able to filter hearsay from actual evidence. Individuals that are saying hearsay versus individuals that were there, that saw what happened, not individuals that tell you, this is what happened, but I wasn't there. Pay close attention to what this investigator is doing with Amy Hodgkins.
He knows a lot about what's going on with her mother and the boyfriend. Apparently, the boyfriend.
And mind you, in his police report, everything that she says about the stepfather, he puts it under Mustafa. Clearly, in this recording, she's making a clear distinction about the boyfriend, who she says she doesn't know. Dorothy, she doesn't know her. She's never met Mustafa, she's never met Dorothy. And she makes a clear distinction between Mustafa, the boyfriend, and the stepfather. Investigator Drum, everything that she says negative about the stepfather, Investigator Drum puts it as Mustafa. That's interesting. Investigator Drum, did you honestly think that we were never going to listen to this audio and compare it with your police report? So not only did you falsify Mustafa's conversation when you talked to him, you falsified the witness conversation. Let's continue listening.
Is like psycho abusive.
Okay.
And from what I was understood was that he was basically forcing the mother to abuse the other children in the house.
Okay. And why? How do we know that?
The daughter.
Okay.
So she's talking about Mustafa being psycho-abusive and Investigator Drum. How do we know that? He asked her, how do we know that? He's forcing the mom to abuse. He's forcing the mom to abuse the kids. And how do we know that? Oh, through Kylie. Kylie, the one that has a relationship with the club owner, who has a vested interest to lie about you because her dad works for Billy. She, in a forensic interview, she said, my dad is forcing me to be here. She's hanging around with those strippers. Kylie, so not according to you, according to Kylie. Let's continue. Mustafa, you have 1 minute. Can you call back?
Yeah, what time is it?
It is 11:08.
I'm gonna hang up the call real quick.
All right, sounds good.
This is the last call, and tell everybody to say good night.
I got you, man. I love you. I got you.
Thank you for using Global Tellink.
What we're gonna do, we went over an hour and 22 minutes. I always attempt to have this podcast under an hour. Obviously, when you're talking about the Mustafa Al-Jazari case, there's so much going on that we've been attempting to make this go under an hour, but every time we fail at keeping this podcast under an hour. Now, on that note, we're going to end this podcast. You can continue listening to this body cam. I'm going to pick up the conversation with my brother. I'm going to connect him with the rest of the family. This is a good portion, segue to stop this podcast and pick up tomorrow. Tomorrow, we'll pick up this podcast at 3 o'clock. And thank you for joining this podcast. This is not another boring podcast. We'll let Mustafa say goodbye, and we'll end it with Mustafa. Mustafa, hello, hello, hello. Mustafa, this is a good point to stop this podcast. We're over an hour. I'm going to connect you with Mom, everybody in the family. I'm telling everybody that they can continue to listening to Amy Lucille Hodgkins, a.k.a. Christine Al-Kazai. I'm having fun. I'm having fun, to be honest with you. I would love to continue, but, huh?
I just want to tell you.
Yeah.
I just want to tell you that if you want to know the reason.
You have to speak a little bit louder, Mustafa.
Oh, the reason that I'm sitting in jail is because people are making false statements saying that I did it on purpose. They're just formulating a strong opinion about me. Where are they getting this opinion from? They're just making stuff up about me. And that recording that's the Christine Al-Kazai, Amy Hudson, telling Robert Drum this stuff. in the premature stages of their investigating. That is a key witness who's saying stuff about me that are false. So that's on body cam, that's recorded.
Now,
If you listen to the content of what she's saying, she's like purposely trying to say I'm guilty. But when she's writing me letters here, she's saying I'm innocent. She's like just coming out as like she's a snake, two-faced. She's on my side and on the low, she's on the other side.
she pretends to be an advocate. She enters our life. This body cam, by the way, this body cam is April 7, 2023. This is 2 days into the vehicle accident. Now, this is before you got arrested. The investigator, Robert Drum, is allowing individuals to manufacture probable cause. Now, it's one thing if it's probable cause. It's manufactured probable cause. They're upset that these body cams are coming out on the internet, that the community is watching. Now, I find it interesting that the media is not reporting on it, and they're covering up for this police department. And it's a failed effort for this police department. It's not going to work because these body cams, the discovery is all over the internet. We have giant trucks that are rolling around the county. 5 giant trucks. They're driving in Stafford, Woodbridge, Prince William County, all the way to D.C. and Maryland. And the community is finding out. I mean, let me really quick show everybody what I'm talking about. These are giant magnets. These are giant magnets that's going to be on the trucks. It says Free Mustafa, YouTube, Free Mustafa. And on the truck, also, it says Mustafa's Legal Fund, Cash App, Legal Fund. This is going to be on the truck. Okay, Mustafa's Legal Fund. And we're going to tell this community, we're going to drive in giant trucks. Mustafa, call back so that way you can get the last call. We have giant trucks. It's 11:13.
I just called. That was
Oh, you're good. Okay, they're good. We have. I just got done showing everybody. I want to tell all my supporters, all the trolls for the police department that are actively engaged in lying about Mustafa, like, and it's criminal activity to use Prince William County resources by Stephanie Claiborne, the wife of the investigator, who anybody that advocates for Mustafa, she's going to start posting their kids. To have Amy Hodgkins, who claimed to be a witness that didn't see anything, who knows everything but didn't see anything, to be online under Christine Al-Khazai. These are criminal activities, and they've been identified, and the federal government is involved. FBI out of D.C. is investigating. Now, Mustafa has giant trucks, and they're rolling around the county all the way to D.C. and Maryland. And the community is finding out about his legal fund, and we're going to raise money for his lawyer so he can have a lawyer, so he can fight this prosecutor in court. We have the body cams.
That's why I say I'm going to include my evidence on the court of records. The home videos, the full dash camera, the 7-Eleven videos, the whole context of Glenn Ford, Kylie Clapp, Jason Clapp. Everything is going to be included in court so it can be shown to a fact trier what is really going on.
On the records, we're demanding that all the evidence to be on the record. Now, Mustafa, we're going to be able to raise money for his lawyer. His evidence will be on the records. And for a prosecutor that screams Mustafa is guilty, why is she terrified that Mustafa's evidence is going to be on the records? Now, on that note, this is not another boring podcast. Mustafa Al-Jazari through the police body cams. Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope. Keep Mustafa in your prayers, and keep us in your prayers. And justice for Mustafa, justice for Dorothy, justice for 5-year-old Empress. Keep us in your prayers. And don't forget to donate into Mustafa's legal fund. It's literally a Cash App. It's $ Mustafa Legal Fund. On that note, thank you for being here, and we'll pick up another podcast tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Thank you for being here. Mustafa, thank you for being here. I love you, man.
Thank you for having me. I love you.
Yes, sir.
Have a wonderful night.
Yes, sir.
God bless.